We're always talking about headphones which are great for loud listening because everyone enjoys that concert experience, going out and having loud music. But what about a headphone that sounds great at quiet levels? This is the Dekoni Cobalt, a collaboration between Dekoni and HIFIMAN, and this is a headphone designed to be listened quietly. The version that I have comes with 2 pair of earpads. They come with those fenestrated earpads and also a velour version. The package is pretty minimalistic, and this is because this one is priced at $399 standard and at $299 when they go on sale. Inside the package we will find the velour earpads, but from what I can gather, those velour earpads are only limited to the first few packages. They won't come as standard and you'll have to purchase them separately. And we also have a very standard cable that we have seen on other HIFIMAN headphones. It is ended in a 3.5mm single-ended jack but comes with an adapter. To be honest, most of my reviewing experience has been done with a different cable, the DD Hi-Fi BC150B, which is a balanced cable because I have most of the source balanced. The default cable is of a good quality, it shouldn't break, but I don't like the overall ergonomics as it is a bit springy and conducts microphonics a bit. The headphones have detachable cables, and those cables are 3.5mm standard cables at the ear cup side, so you'll have no problems replacing the cable. And the construction is pretty similar to other HIFIMAN headphones. Since this is a HIFIMAN collaboration, between Dekoni and HIFIMAN, I expect the sound to be somewhere in between. Usually when I'm reviewing a headphone, I typically give it a first listen and then I create my own bias, my own expectations of it, which then will be explored throughout the review. With the Cobalt, I didn't do this. I didn't follow my standard procedure. This is because this is a headphone that at loud volumes can be quite bright and the treble is very strong. At first listen, I didn't really like them. So what I did was that I placed them aside and I kept them on my head and started working at the computer. Naturally, while working, I reduced the volume that I was listening to, and then I discovered that they actually sound really good at low listening volumes. So at whisper level, quiet listening volumes, they were quite excellent. I continued experimenting, naturally, and I have figured that they really sound awesome, like excellent at quiet listening volumes. And then I started testing other pairs of headphones. Is this something normal, or do headphones typically struggle with low volumes? And I have noticed that most headphones actually do struggle a bit playing well at low volumes. So this is a rarity, something that can be enjoyed in quiet. The Dekoni Cobalt is actually really enjoyable. Before we go into the sonic part of the review, I should mention that they are blue in color. Some people didn't like the blue color, but that is because most of the photos that can be found online are a bit overexposed. The actual color is more of a marine blue. It is not very strong, it is almost black. They wiggle in every direction, the comfort is quite excellent, and actually they are more comfortable than most headphones I have because they have very deep and somewhat hard earpads, so you'll get that seal quite easily. Also, while wearing them, you'll see that the headband does touch my head, but it is soft and it doesn't cause any kind of comfort issues. The overall adjusting mechanism should allow you to fit very large heads and smaller heads as well. So for example, at the largest, they are quite a bit larger than I need them to be. This means they should be good for most people. When you go to the sonics, I should mention that those should be listened only quietly. You shouldn't bring them to a high volume because they will not sound that great. At higher volumes, they just become very forward, very aggressive, bright, and shouty, which is usually something that happens with EMs. EMs typically tend to do this, but this is a pair of headphones. They are somewhat hard to drive, and although some websites do mention that they are somewhat easy to drive, in my experience, they aren't very easy to drive. They actually need quite a bit of power on both the GDS Labs Element 3 Mark II Boosted and FIO Q15. They just don't sound good if you are underdriving them. And onto the sound, this is one of the most holographic sounding speakers, especially at low volumes. This just sounds so holographic. The sound extends very nicely in width, depth, height. For the first time in many reviews, I have heard height in the soundstage, so you can hear a very good instrument placement, an exceptional instrument separation, and just everything sounds so sweet out of them. They have an emphasis on female voices, on emotion, and on pianos, so they will sound quite emotional, but they also work well with emo, with rock, with guitars. Basically, it is one of the best sounding headphones if you keep the volume low. So in my full written review, I have named them hearing protectors, and that is something they do because they will really protect your hearing. You won't get listening fatigue, they will sound pretty crisp and sharp, and especially at low volumes they have exceptional resolution, dynamics, and a very well defined sound. Most headphones do sound great at medium and high listening volumes. Those sound good at medium and low listening volumes. They are a very unique headphone. I would think that if you don't know that you're listening quietly, you shouldn't go for them, because going for them and then realizing that you can't get them loud just won't be fun. Also, if you do have something that has EQ, they have a huge headroom, and I mean you can add almost 20 decibels of bass without any kind of changes in the phase reproduction. So basically you can add a lot of bass if you want to make them less shouty, less bright, and to get the tonality more balanced, but you really have to take this into account. They weren't made to be EQ'd, they were made to be enjoyed just quietly. And it is just something I have discovered mostly by mistake. So is the Dekoni X HIFIMAN Cobalt worth it? Well worth the asking price, because you'll get a resolution that you typically don't get even from very expensive products. Is it worth it if you don't listen quietly? I don't think so. It should be listened quietly, enjoyed with a glass of wine and with some relaxing music, because they really have a special texture. The transient reproduction is on the softer side, which means that they won't make any texture harsh or too edgy. They will make most music very smooth. Musical is just the tonality which is bright, not the texture which is aggressive or fatiguing. So they won't sound dry, rather they will sound slightly wet, they will have a fluid character, and they will just give you a very pleasing overall presentation. They are really delightful if the volume is kept low. To drive them, I have used mainly FIO Q15, GDS Labs Element 3 Mark II Boosted, and also HIFIMAN EF600. All of those can drive them really well, but I haven't had such success with mini dongles such as the Shanning UA4 or HIDIS S9 Pro Plus. And usually when using dongles, they just remain quite bright and the bass doesn't get very low. The happy part is that if you are listening quietly, the bass can get very convincing. It has a voluptuous presentation, very good punchiness, and it is very deep reaching. So somehow when increasing the volume, there is a change in the tonality representation. They aren't linear with the volume increase. Basically, at minimum volume, they sound very natural, very cohesive, and very airy, wide, holographic, and well separated. When you increase the volume, it is the treble which increases faster and which creates this feeling that they are very bright, aggressive, sharp, and shouty. Overall, they are a great headphone that I've enjoyed quite a lot, and I will enjoy when I am not intending to listen very loud. If you grab them, I hope that you'll have a lot of fun. Don't forget, this is a dynamic driver, so it can take a beating quite well. It is not a planar magnetic driver. I hope that my video has been enjoyable to watch. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like the video if you enjoyed the content. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope we'll see each other really soon. Bye!